once in a while, we'll get a surprise. And we'll see another country doing something that we ought to do. I've noticed that there are a lot of folks saying we need literally more youthful representatives. I don't always agree with that. I think when people say that, what they really mean is we need not even what they really mean. What I hear in that is that we need representatives who have not been in government for 20, 30 years, who have been forced to live like us recently. But sometimes, genuinely, having younger folks as part of the decision-making process is good. One of the reasons is that they tend to have a knowledge of upcoming industries, trends, things that do need regulations. Case in point, China just banned gambling for children in video games. If you don't know, I don't think he explains it, so if you don't know what I'm referring to, you go to like Electronic Arts, EA, some of their games. You can pay money, like actual real crisp dollars. You can pay them money and get something called a loot box. And this loot box, well, it could be anything. Could be something really good, could be something not so good in terms of the video game. Like if it's a shooter game, it could be a really good tip-top of the line gun or a new costume for your person to wear, or it could be just a bunch of nonsense that you don't really need, like health packs that are already constantly generated or whatever. It's gambling for kids because you don't win money, you win in-game currency. The guns, the skins for your character, etc., the outfits for your character, etc. But it's still gambling. Now, we almost did some legislation about that in the United States, but Republicans blocked it. Guess what China just did?
Something really wild. Online games will now be banned from giving players rewards if they log in every day. If they spend on the game the first time, like the top-up bonuses, gone. If they spend several times on the game consecutively, so chain money, they're like...
So these are all practices which are designed to make a habit out of the video game that you're playing. It's a problem. I think it's worthy of discussion. I'm sure there's people that think, wait a minute, daily reward bonuses for logging in? There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that for adults. But video games are famously something children love. There is something wrong, in my opinion. There is something wrong with that for children. An adult is allowed to smoke and drink and whatever for the same reason that I think it's probably fine if they have a daily reward, blah, 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 in a video game. Their minds are developed enough to make these decisions. They've seen snake oil salesmen before. They know what the hustle is. They're allowed to participate in the hustle so long as they're able to understand what it is. Kids get that game bought by their parents on Christmas. Kids have a different set of circumstances.
Like, oh, you bought like 5 items. You can get 50% off the next item. That's gone. In addition, games will be
tricking you into spending more money, in other words.
Stop from luck-based draw mechanics, like
loot boxes.
Loot boxes to minors. No more gacha for kids.
Before you start thinking this is just a silly niche thing, I'd like to point out something to you. Since I was working, it's gone way beyond this. Since I was working in DIV in Detroit, the video game industry generates more money than the auto industry and the film industry combined. More money than cars and movies combined. How much would the economy be affected if the auto industry disappeared overnight? Hell, over 5 years. How much would it be affected? A lot. That's the size of the beast we're talking about here. Something significantly larger than both the movie industry and the auto industry. Even if you don't play them yourself, you should take an interest in the regulation.
That's good. It is crazy to see this. So these are all banned now in China. Panic among investors, wiping nearly $80 billion in market value off of China's two biggest gaming companies. The moment that they did this, $80 billion.
Let me just be clear. Not $80 billion in market value total. Not $80 billion in market value around the world. $80 billion off of China's two biggest gaming companies. That's the size of the beast we're talking about. And they deserved to have that money taken away from them because they were making $80 billion a year off of scamming kids. They were robbing the parents by tricking the children.
Wiped off the map, dude. Now, here's the thing that's really interesting. People will be like, oh, that's just going to be in China. They're going to use them everywhere else. I don't know about that. Remember when the EU implemented all of its online laws and then every website does this? I think the rest of the market's going to follow suit. This is a rare China W for me. These are some of the most predatory dog shit business things I've ever seen in games. And it feels weird, but I agree with you, China. Please get rid of this shit. China has actually just announced something really
fantastic. Good job, China. I'm with Pirate Software there. The fella's name is Thor, I kid you not. His dad is also a game fella, so that'll explain a lot. Yeah, I'm with him. It's a good. I'm not normally with China, but that was a good move on their part. By the way, you'll probably have an easier time than you think getting legislation to regulate our own video game industry in place, because they don't have their hooks into politicians nearly as much as other industries do in the U.S. There's just not that infrastructure. They haven't been doing it since the 70s. Now, I don't think we should start going on a crusade. We shouldn't do another, no more violence in video games tirade. There's just basic business practices, which shouldn't be allowed. Don't sell gambling to kids. If you're adding an extra step, it's still gambling. The loot boxes, those gotta go. If you want to specify 18 plus can use loot boxes, all right, fine. But children should not be enticed with gambling. Boy, but this is the fact that we don't have much regulation regarding these things is a symptom of a larger problem. Young folks gotta throw their hat in the ring. We need more Alexandria Ocasio-Cortezes. We need more Max Frosts. We need more young bucks. I'm not supposed to, I think that is not a good phrase. We need more young folks in Congress. I mean, it's that simple. There are people in Congress now who have literally never opened an email. We just can't have that. We have to have people that have a sense of the actual issues that are on the horizon, as well as people who know what is going on presently. Pretty easy to do that, as it turns out. Encourage a good-hearted gamer to run for office. Encourage people with diverse life experiences to run for office. You think there ought to be somebody in the legislature? Oh my God, legislature? in the House and Senate who know Congress, that's the word I was looking for. If you think there ought to be someone in Congress who has some sense of what the food service industry is like, find someone in the food service industry and encourage them to run. If you think there ought to be someone in there that knows what gaming is like, find someone who games, ask them to run. If somebody drives around the country for a living or is involved with I'm trying to think of industries that I know you guys are involved in bartending, etc., and you think we are lacking legislation there, encourage them to run for office. There's a link in the description which tells you how to run, which makes it easy. Give that to them. And my recommendation is find a gamer and give that to them. Because, cannot stress this enough, the industry of gaming is now larger, and has been for some time, than both the auto industry and the film industry combined. The size of the beast we're talking about, and we should have people in Congress who are aware enough of it to deal with it.